Oh snap, we're back. With a budget of $200 million, Deadpool and Wolverine was a box office success, making over $1.3 billion. The film brought back some iconic Marvel characters who hadn't been a part of the MCU, while also introducing others who had yet to make their debut on the big screens. It was a dope movie, but as a card gamer, I couldn't help but think, how good are these characters in Marvel Snap? How about we ask CGB? An MTG expert who's never even installed Marvel Snap returns to rate Snap cards. This time, he'll be evaluating key characters from Deadpool and Wolverine, having to assign a tier for each card. The tiers are NPC, unplayable. Cards with zero relevance in the meta go here. Gluten-free bread. Card ain't awful, may even serve a specific niche, but ultimately gets outshined by better versions in the game. Smartphone, meta-defining tool, meta-defining tier. Good metagame staples go here. I may also include cards that are old versions of themselves, when they were broken and had to be nerfed. These fall into the Dr. Manhattan tier. Will our guest be able to spot them? Let's do this. Oh snap, he's back. Again. For the third time in a row. Hello, Covered Go Blue.
It's CGB. Hi. How we doing?
I like when you say that. It's me. It's CGB. I wish I had something like that. You know, it's me. It's Mogwai, but it's just weird.
Mogwai. It's really Mogwai. No, just fire me. Fire me now.
No. I actually, like, I'm gonna. If you ever come up with like a cool line, just hit me up, and then I'll take all the credit. Okay. How you doing, buddy?
You. Yeah.
We're in for another round. Are you excited about? Well, I'm gonna just dump it on you immediately. Today's theme is going to be the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen this movie.
Okay, good.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely. Well, that helped me with this.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Because I had no idea if you seen it. So it's like, if you didn't see, I was like, man, that was a big miss. But now I feel good about it. Before we actually jump into the cards, though, CGB, I'm gonna need you to take up your notepad real quick. Do you have your notepad in hand?
I got it.
Pick up your pen.
Uh-huh.
All right, write this down.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna make a reference to the last video. All right, there was a big drama revolving around the vanilla stat lines. And while I was very defensive about it at first, I am. Sometimes, you gotta let go of your ego and you gotta accept your losses. And I will admit my blunder, because when I was referencing for you like the baseline stats, I was more like using it. I was not using the real vanilla stat lines, like the official vanilla stat lines in which we found on. So I'm gonna give you the vanilla stat lines for every single curve in the energy.
What? There's an official vanilla stat line though?
There's an official vanilla stat line,
like
yes.
from the company?
But they're not. And yeah, no. I mean, it is. It actually, like, it's an interesting subject. Hopefully, we're not gonna ramble on too much, but this is important.
Sorry.
Let's just clarify it real quick. So basically, one drops, 1 energy, 2 power.
Okay.
2 energy, 3 power.
Uh-huh.
All right?
Yeah.
I said 4 because most 3 power cards do have abilities, and good abilities at that, but it is true that there's a very low amount of 4 power cards, and the official like stat line to be expected out of a 2-drop is 3, okay? It can go a little bit higher than that, but 3 is the baseline. Okay?
Yeah.
For 3 energy, the official vanilla stat line is 4. All right. Though, me saying to you that it was 6 was just like batshit crazy. Not gonna lie. But it's also because you have a certain expectation of what cards, what power you should be hitting and stuff. But in reality, this is the more controversial one because there has been a shift in power over time in Marvel Snap, and for 3 drops, a lot of the 3 drops hit the baseline of 5 now. I'm talking about 5 power with a positive ability, not necessarily an ability that adds even more power onto that, but an ability that adds utility and disruption potentially, amongst other things. So while some people can argue that vanilla, including me, the vanilla stat line for 3 is 5, I have noticed that there's been a recent shift in the opposite direction, and they've been trying to tone this down a little bit with some nerfs here and there. And there are still a bunch of 3 drops that are the same as they've always have been, and they were initially designed around the vanilla stat line being 4, okay?
So it's
So
4.
keep that in mind. It's 4. Let's go with 4.
Okay.
But but if you have a card that is 3 power and 4 power for 3 energy and it does nothing, then it's gonna be absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Noted.
All right. Okay. There is a card like that, by the way. As we have for 4 energy, the official vanilla stat line is 6 power. But I think this is also a little bit sus because basically every single 7 power 4 drop in the game has a positive ability.
Okay.
Okay, so there is the, I think, and this is, I feel like the 4 drop and the 3 drops, because of the rise in power level of the 3 drops, the 4 drops also had a rise in power level as well in response to that, right? But the official vanilla stat line is 6. Okay, but you can expect cards to have 4 energy, 7 power, and a pretty decent ability on top of that. All right.
Yeah.
For 5 energy, the vanilla stat line is 9.
Okay.
It's always been like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And for 6 energy, like I mentioned to you, and this one I actually was right about, it's 12.
yeah.
Like your boy Magneto.
Bang,
That's
bang.
the vanilla stat line, but he also has a positive ability on top of that. But it's not like an ability that adds necessarily like a tremendous amount of points. It's just more about disruption, right? Utility. Okay, good.
2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12. I've got to
Those are the
say,
officials.
having a quote official vanilla stat line is so freaking weird to me. Like, why would this even exist? Anyway, I don't want to send you on a tangent, but like,
No. I mean,
I'm like, what?
it's because there is it's considered the official one because Marvel Snap is designed around one stat, so keeping cards on curve, in check with this vanilla stat line is actually really important for balancing, right? So you do need to have an idea of the expected power output of a card at a specific amount of energy, but keep in mind that what these vanilla stat lines, what they represent is the bare minimum, okay?
Okay. Oh,
But it's also hard for a card on its own to really go far above the vanilla stat line, okay? Like only with specific synergies and combos you can really achieve stuff like this. So hopefully this gives you a bit more of like a foundation to properly evaluate the cards, and hopefully the actuallys in the comment section.
I think that's what
Leave me a little bit alone,
that's
man.
what it
Like they
exists
ripped me
for.
apart in that video. Oh my god, it was
That's
insane.
That's what the vanilla stat lines are for. The actuallys in the comments. They're
Actually,
for
exactly. I
engagement.
mean, you know, card gamers. Card gamers love to be like very specific about terminologies, and especially like in Magic the Gathering. Like you probably have experienced some of that yourself. So, but it's true. Those are the vanilla stat lines, and we're gonna go with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Having that said, let's jump into it. We're gonna be covering the cards of characters that appeared in the key characters. Not just cameos. We're gonna focus on key characters in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And of course, why not start with the man himself? Our first card for today is Deadpool.
It's art.
I know, it's adorable, right?
Sure.
Absolutely adorable.
Sure. Okay.
Come on, it's amazing. And do you see like the bubbly on top? Screw you. Aw.
Yeah.
That's actually
yeah.
a comic book cover, actually. They got it from that. Deadpool is a 1 energy, 1 power card that says when this is destroyed, return it to your hand with double the power.
Okay, interesting. And we have the tiers. I'm gonna see if I can remember them
have the tiers.
off the top of my head this time.
Okay, let's see it.
Let's see, what was the very first one?
Bro!
PC.
There we go.
Yep. Gluten-free bread.
You can't forget that one.
Yep. Smartphone. And a Dr. Manhattan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm trying to think of all the cards I've seen that destroy your characters, and it doesn't feel like there's many. Like, it doesn't feel like this is a removal-based system. So I'm wondering if there's like an archetype that destroys your own
I do
stuff.
need to clarify. I have not shown you like specific, because the card pool, we haven't got into that, but it is important for me to tell you that destroying your own cards is an archetype within Marvel Snap.
Yeah, that's what I immediately, like, my very first thought when I saw this is like, that has to be This has to be like a build around a piece of a foundation of some kind of archetype, right? Because yeah, you want things that you destroy for value and they get better and better, which is basically what this is. You have to.
The question is, there's some questions that arise, like,
Yeah.
like, is this too slow?
Right.
Is this very strong? How often can I destroy it? Okay, what can I do with this, right?
Yeah.
So, and you may be lacking some, important context, but that's what the challenge is about. Let's see if you can power through the lack of information and show everybody how smart CGB is.
Nah. Destroy. You want to destroy this. If you destroy this twice, you pay 1 for 4, and that's really good. So the question is, how easy is it like to curve and keep destroying this like every turn possible? Or actually, is that even what's important? What's important is probably destroying this 3 times. Then you're paying 1 for 8. That is probably, I'm gonna guess that can win a location. If you destroy it 4 times and you pay 1 for 16, that's insane. You definitely win a location. So over like 7 turns.
6 turns.
6 turns. How many times can you destroy our little friend? You gotta play it on 1. Then on 2, you have to destroy it, play it again. Maybe there's a card like Village Rites in Magic, which is like destroy, sacrifice a creature to draw 2. That would be busted, so maybe it's some lower effect, but something like that. And then at that point, you're 2 power on a location that's probably behind significantly. You play something that maybe a 2 that destroys this, you replay this, now you're at like 7, so you're caught up. Yeah, if it's an archetype, it's gotta have a curve that like it enables this to be good. This could be totally bad, but let's go down the list. Is this an NPC? Nah, if there is any kind of a destroy archetype, and destroying your own stuff, as we learned from Magic and other card games, is satisfying. Players like actually love sacrifice mechanics. Some number of the player base loves this. This is, in my mind, no NPC. Is it gluten-free bread? Only if the archetype fails, right? And there's not a good reason for them to put an archetype to build around archetype in this card pool and have it fail to this degree with such a marquee card. So I don't like that. Is it a smartphone? Key part of an archetype, right? And maybe the thing that when you have it early, like, is busted. So it feels right. And then is it Dr. Manhattan? Is this a card that if you have on turn 1, you can't possibly lose in this archetype? Maybe it is, because doubling seems really good. Like I said, probably when you get it down as a 1 play for 8, you win a location. 1 for 16, you definitely do. I'm not brave enough. I'm going to put faith in the design team to make this a useful archetype. So I'm going to rule out NPC and I'm going to rule out bread. I don't see this being a Dr. Manhattan. So I am going to declare Deadpool a smartphone as my first go of the day.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Right. You hit the, I was going to say nail, but whatever it is that
The
I think I get on his
plunger?
head. The pointer, yeah. You hit the pointer on the head, baby. Deadpool. One thing that you didn't factor in with your reasoning is that you don't necessarily have to kill this that many times because there are ways in the game to buff it. And
Okay.
that's where it gets fun.
Oh,
right? Like,
put pants on him.
yeah.
Okay.
If you can buff it, then you can skip a turn where you would kill it otherwise, but focus on buffing it, and then all of a sudden when you kill it, the doubling effect is going to be way more dramatic, right? Deadpool can very easily reach very high, but of course, as you said, you have to draw it in your opening hand, and you not only have to draw it in your opening hand, but you also have to draw it alongside destroyers and potentially the ability to buff it as well. So most often than not, like in a bunch of games, Deadpool won't really get, you won't get that much out of it, but in other games, it's just gonna be like 16 points easily. I mean, not easily. I would say 16 is like a bit of a high roll, right? But it's very easy to go above the mark with this and just really pop off. And the archetype is just capable of a very nasty proactive things. So Deadpool is the main win condition the top tier destroy decks are founded on. right? There's variations of Destroy decks, but the most popular one is focused on Deadpool and tries to play, you know, right into it. And it is an absolutely essential piece of the Destroy deck within Marvel Snap. And, you know, just like in the movie, pretty stable right here as well. Deadpool, you know, did not end up being one of those characters that just underperforms by any means and has not really ever been changed either. Has always been as it is, and it actually got better over time. At first it wasn't that good, but as more and more resources, more and more cards that could synergize it were released, it has reached the top tier status that it has today. So as smartphone as a smartphone can get. Let's call it iPhone.
Nice.
Deadpool.
Nice.
Good job.
Love it.
Good job, CGB. All right. Off to a good start. How about we go with the other guy? You know, with the other main character of the movie. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at Wolverine.
Wolverine. By the way, what do I get if I go 7-0? Do I get like a prize?
You get the title of Yami.
Yeah. Okay.
Yami Blue. And maybe I'll design like a logo with like Yu-Gi-Oh here on you or something, you know, like you will transcend into a true card game master. So there's quite a bit on the line here.
Nice.
Just keep it in mind.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm
No
competing
pressure.
for something.
There we go. Wolverine is a 2 energy, 2 power card. When this is discarded or destroyed, regenerate it with +2 power at a random location.
Ooh, they go together. Okay.
Best friends?
Yeah,
Or not.
best friends. They're best friends. When this is discarded or destroyed. So I've seen some discard synergy. I remember that from last time. And destroyed synergizes with the same kind of cards that want to work with Deadpool, and it's a little higher in the curve, but the stats are different. It gets +2 power, and it goes to a random location. That's not.
It respawns.
Yeah.
So it dies and then it respawns randomly on one of the 3. Yes.
I mean, that is not the same as doubling, but you don't have to recast it. So at least your mana investment is basically good for the rest of the game. Also, there's that just sweet synergy of discarding for an effect, and this just pops out as a 4/2 already. And then if it gets destroyed, it comes back as a 6 somewhere. That's cool. That's a cool card. That's a cool card. How good is that card? How good is that card? Again, it doesn't... It reads as a cool synergy piece. It's probably very satisfying. It doesn't read as busted to me. I guess now the question is, could this be a gluten-free bread or an NPC? Maybe. Maybe the rate isn't like enough. It seems really good. I mean, it seems like a nice value play. Like in Magic, this would be a perfectly acceptable role player card that you're happy to have in like a discard or graveyard, like synergy style deck, sacrifice style deck. Absolutely. Of course, this is a very different game, but would you call that a smartphone? Would you call that like an important part of the archetype that isn't busted, or is it just nice? Is it? Gosh, I don't want to call Wolverine gluten-free bread. I'd hate to do that. I don't think it's an NPC. Okay, so now I'm in the middle. I hate being in the middle. Just saying it's good or bad doesn't do here. Is it like a staple to archetypes, or is it a very meh card? Are you also a smartphone? There is the issue, I guess, of drawing this at the wrong time and just having it 2 for 2 and getting no other benefit, right? That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. If you have it early, it's fine. And later, it's pretty bad. I don't want to call you gluten-free bread. I really, really don't. I really, really don't. I really don't. But I'm gonna... No. They're 2 smartphones. I don't know why you need 2 smartphones, but they're 2 smartphones. They have to be 2 smartphones. They have to be best friends together. No, wait. I don't think this is as good as Deadpool. I really don't. I don't think it's that good. Oh, this is tough. I hate this. I hate it.
I don't. I'm just enjoying yourself.
I bet you are. I bet you are. Yeah, I'm gonna. God, I don't think it's as good as Deadpool. They could occupy the same bracket without being as good as each other, but I think it's such a downgrade in my opinion. I'm still sticking with smartphone. I think it's still an important part of the archetype. I think that you love having this card. In the discard, maybe it's a different archetype actually. I bet in the discard this is better than in the destroy. I'm still gonna go with a smartphone.
And the answer is smartphone.
Oh my God!
I thought you were. I thought you were gonna have a stroke there for a moment.
My heart was beat. Look at that.
You were going back and forth. I was like,
Dude,
oh, God.
you come across that in a dark alley and you look straight in straight in his eyes and you say you're gluten-free bread. He'll be like, "What are you talking?
It's over.
What are you talking about,
You're
bub?"
done.
Yeah,
You're done.
You're just dead.
Who says I can't lead with back-to-back smartphones? Where is that? Where is that in the rules?
I don't know, dude.
No?
I don't know.
Oh, you
These
got
are my mental
paranoid. You got paranoid
constructs.
because you thought I had a pattern of switching it up.
I don't
Be like,
know.
oh, up and down, up and down. No. I'm not predictable like that, boy.
Am I right
Good
about?
thing you followed your. I think actually your heart was taking you in that, but you kept your cool, and you're like. Because ultimately, a lot of your reasoning is true. The two cards, while they do function similarly, right? Like they synergize with destroy effects, they are different, right? Because Deadpool is like this snowbally engine, while Wolverine is more like safe, consistent value,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But what you really nailed it on is the fact that you do not have to replay him. You don't have to spend the energy to cast him again. So destroy decks love to lead off with turn 1 Deadpool, turn 2 Wolverine. It's not their best opener because they'd rather set up like a buff to Deadpool or something like that, but it is an opener they can go with. Deadpool, Wolverine, destroy. And you're good to go. Like you're building up because if you play them in the same location, you could potentially you can destroy them, right? So you have two pieces that function similarly, right? And they kind of like do the same thing. They want to get killed because they don't actually get killed, and they come back stronger, and they naturally just go really, really well together. You're looking at the two prime engines of the destroy archetype, just like in the movie.
Hell yeah. Just like a prayer.
And fun fact, Wolverine used to be 3 power, but got nerfed to 2.
Oh, that makes sense.
The stats, I don't think it was like super like I was gonna go with the Dr. Manhattan Wolverine because I don't think if you look at a Wolverine like that you can assess that. He stayed like that for a very long time. Wolverine actually was a pretty underwhelming card at the beginning, and then they were like, you know what, like Wolverine should be good. People like Wolverine. Wolverine's one of the most favorite, like it's top 3 easy like Marvel characters, right? When it comes to like
Probably.
Alongside the likes of Spider-Man. Like it's really up there. Wolverine is really up there as a character. I think he's one of the coolest X-Men, and everybody loves him. Like how many Wolverine movies have they made at this point? So it would be kind of silly to have this card like not be very good in my opinion, and it wasn't for quite a while until they finally realized it's like, okay, let's actually buff this beloved character so people get excited about playing him. And ever since then, he's been smartphone, and he got a little bit too ahead. He became like this super Samsung shit that just had to be toned down.
Yeah, they had to chill him out again.
They had to chill. They had to take out the you know what I hate when they took out the earphone jacks from the new ones. Oh, that pisses me off. Like these new smartphones that you can't like actually insert the like. I call me a boomer,
dude.
But
people don't like
why are you
changing their
taking that from
headphones.
it?
People do not like to change headphones. When you've got those headphones,
Well, I do, man. I don't know. Take me back to the 90s. I don't know, man. Like this is just ridiculous. I don't know why we're going on this tangent, but basically, Wolverine got a little bit too good, and they toned him down just a tiny bit. But at 2 power, he's still more than playable. And a key card, and yeah, dude, do you think you would enjoy an archetype like Destroy within Marvel Snap? Seeing like you know a few cards about it, but
I mean,
Like, what are your first impressions?
Sure. Usually,
Not the craziest. I think you got more excited when I mentioned the whole clog archetype.
I don't know. I'd have to, I'd have to try it, but like I've never been like a
I
sacrifice
think you would enjoy.
player,
You're a bit more of a degenerate in that sense. You would like like me. Like I love clogging. But basically decks that don't allow your opponent to do things.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You love that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Love, that gets you going. Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, Destroy is a very popular, beloved archetype, hated by a lot of people actually because of how prevalent it's been over many different Marvel Snap metas. But oh boy, it's going nowhere. It may not always be at the top, but it's always a relevant deck that you have to take into account. And now we're moving on from the main two characters, and we're continuing on to the roster. You'll see that I'm featuring key characters from the movie. Let's move on from Deadpool and Wolverine to Elektra.
Heyo.
Elektra, hello there. Elektra is a 1 energy 2 power card that has an honor reveal effect that says destroy an enemy 1 cost card here. And to clarify, if there are more than one drops in that location, she will destroy 1 randomly.
Okay.
You don't get to target.
Okay. Interesting. So like on turn 1, you're hoping they put something in the same spot? That'd be pretty funny, but it's probably more of like a play later in the game to target, whatever the 1 cost thing is more of a, which means you're a little off curve, but it's a micro swing. So the 2 1-drops I've seen that are good, that appear to be very good, are both things that you wanted destroyed. That's
Nova and Deadpool.
So that doesn't seem great.
Yeah, that's probably not great.
That doesn't seem great for Elektra. Then
Good
again,
point.
you are showing me the outliers, right? Because they're what's interesting, and it's hard to say how many like vanilla or closer to vanilla or just synergy pieces that you want to stay on board are played in that spot where Elektra would be good. So I can't just base it off that. I can't only base it on those 2 that I've seen. So I'm thinking the other card we saw last video that snipes a 1 cost out of a deck wasn't good, but there was real reason for that. It was like Bad Mill. I'm trying to remember the name of that character and I can't.
Oh, Yondu.
Yondu. That's right. I just always think of him as Daddy because of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
And because he's blue, be real. Because his skin is blue.
Knock it off. I mean,
Steady.
Come on. I'm not that color focused, okay? She's wearing red and I'm fine with it.
Are you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am. No, Elektra was a huge, the first Daredevil movie was something I actually saw in theaters at the whopping age of, I think, like 18.
That's the one with Ben Affleck, right?
Yeah. It was a pretty big deal. Anyway.
So you were excited about seeing her in the movie?
Yes. I was.
So you were probably like that one person who yelled in the cinema when she appeared.
Many of us yelled. Many of us are of a certain age. It's okay. All right, normalize it. It's fine. I want to like this card for other reasons as well. For all those reasons, but my goodness, it doesn't seem that good to me. Destroy an enemy 1 cost card here. You have to play it in the location. We talked about clogging locations. You remove their 1 cost thing, and now the location isn't very clogged. Like we've talked about space at locations being a premium. So this feels like unless there's a 1 cost card without a destroy benefit that has an ongoing effect in a location that is incredibly negative to you, like this coming down and blowing up their 1 cost thing only frees them up to play something bigger, and you have a 1 cost thing in the location. So I'm all of my brain wants to name her an NPC, and it feels mean, but I'm gonna, damn it, dude. Maybe there's a meta for her, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna call her an NPC, and you don't look like an NPC. You're gorgeous, but I think you're an NPC in the game. I think you are.
Correct.
Okay.
And you know what? You may feel bad about it, but CGB, we have to face reality, okay?
Yeah.
I like watching reactions on YouTube, okay? It's one of my guilty pleasures. And I did watch quite a few reactions to, that scene in the movie where the characters like, the Deadpool and Wolverine are like in this base, and then, these forgotten characters from other movies started entering, right? And everybody started freaking out.
Yep.
And they all follow a pattern, CGB. And I'm sorry to say this, but it was all Elektra appears first. It's just like, oh, whoa. And then it's like, and then right after it's like Blade comes in and everybody's like, oh my God.
Yeah, the lineup
and
was...
then Gambit comes in and it's a mixture of like the same, but also like, what the fuck? So it was... Come on, man. She's the NPC of the movie. I'm really sorry to Elektra fans. I'm not sorry to you, CBGB, but I'm sorry to Elektra fans out there. She was the NPC of that group. Like, I know I'm pissing a lot of people off saying this, but it's the truth.
Look,
you just have to accept it.
When you're a young man and Jennifer Garner's on screen in the outfit, you don't really care. Or at least some of us don't really care about the lore or the bad writing. She got a pass for other reasons at the time.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But Elektra, okay, so your assessment was pretty on point. Fun fact, Elektra actually got buffed a while back. She used to be 1 energy, 1 power. Barely saw any play, and then was buffed to 2. Had some niche here and there, but the biggest issue with Elektra is, as you said, a lot of times when you're going to be trying to use that kind of effect, first of all, you cannot play her on curve. In fact, a great way to tell, because up until Infinite, you can run into bots in Marvel Snap. And one of the best ways, like one of the easiest ways to identify a bot is that they play turn 1 Elektra. Just out of nowhere. It's like, okay, I see you. What was it? Jarvis. Yeah. Okay, nice play, buddy.
Yep, you could not solve one of them captchas, could you? You can't identify a traffic light.
People are worried about AI. Please, but yeah, no. It's definitely a case of a card that is just like you have to play her later in the curve, and that is already an issue. Because that means that Elektra is not going to fit decks that want to be playing on curve. By that, for people newer to card games, what I mean is that playing, a 2-drop on 2, a 3-drop on 3, a 4-drop on 4. Like if your deck is designed to do that, you can't really incorporate Elektra because, and even in strategies like bound strategies, right, that have a lower curve and want to reutilize unreal effects there are just so many better options. Her win rate is in the gutter, and it's especially rough considering how low her play rate is. A lower play rate means less sample size of games, which means having a negative win rate, a really bad win rate, with a lower, amount of games played isn't really a good look for anybody, right? So Elektra just suffers from the fact that she has to be played off curve, and she has to, and her effect is random. So you can play her in a specific location with, and you want to snipe down like a key 1-drop that you want to take out, because there are some 1-drops that are like that. But then if there's like anything like a rock there, for example, or like a squirrel spawned by a location, or just another 1-drop that's just like doesn't really matter, it comes to chance, and not having full control over what you're hitting is a huge blow to the card. Even though she does have the vanilla stat line of 2, nowadays it's just not enough, and there's not even like a niche for her. She's absolute NPC. Like outside of like budget decks, you just do not see her in the ladder ever. And it's unfortunate,
just like in the movie.
More so for you, as you're supposed to be a fan of the character and stuff. But it sucks for Elektra.
Yep.
Elektra fans.
Yep, just like in the movie, got done dirty.
Hey, you said that, not me. All right, how about we go into another character though? Pretty sure you know who this guy is.
Yeah, bring him on.
Let's welcome in your boy, Blade.
Ooh, okay. Oh, yeah.
His appearance on the movie was like, yeah, people were not expecting it at all. And it was pretty crazy.
There's only one Blade. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
We have the 1 energy, 3 power, the only one Blade, who has an on-reveal effect that says, discard the rightmost card from your hand.
The rightmost card from your hand, which you have no control over in this game, right?
No, you cannot, exactly. You cannot swap cards around.
When you draw your card for turn, does it go left or does it go right?
It goes on your right.
It goes on the right, okay.
Yes.
Well, that gives you some agency. It's on reveal, so that does mean like you can have cards with discard effects, like say Wolverine, and you don't have to play Blade on turn 1. If you do play Blade on turn 1 with Wolverine, that's busted. That's got to be fun. But I think like what you're saying here is that you build your deck with this many kind of cards that when you discard them, you get something, and then you hold Blade and you play it when your rightmost card is something that takes advantage of that. And that's cool. Like, not only do you get 3 power for just one energy, but you also get a discard effect. It's a very cheap way to do that archetype. So yeah, the discard for value, people love this. So how good is it? I mean, I looked at the cow last time. I like this so much more than that stupid cow, but that cow is a smartphone. I don't think we're looking at an NPC this time. This seems like a really good ability. And because it's only 1, I bet it's awkward sometimes when you draw it at the wrong point. But if the card is all the way to the right, maybe in the future you can play whatever you drew and the Blade, and then that card that you wanted to discard is on the right again. So I bet it's manageable. It's hard for me because in Magic we can switch our hand around all we want to. So it's a hard thing for me to grasp this time, but I bet it's more manageable.
Oh yeah, especially for those of us who play physical TCG. Like, there's some people who would drive me crazy. They're like shuffling their hand all the time. I just, can you stop? I don't know where this shit is.
Yeah. There's the card flicking machines that exist. But I bet that this is more manageable than at first I think it is. So I don't think it's an NPC. I don't think it's gluten-free bread. Is it busted? Are you busted? I mean, that thing with Wolverine sounds busted. Like, this is yeah. What if that would be like the nuts? But I bet the nuts can happen. That's the way it goes sometimes. I mean, getting high rolled.
The nuts
sucks.
can happen. I want to make a quote of that.
The nuts can happen. The nuts can happen. It happens every day to somebody.
2024.
Man, are we a smartphone machine out here? Are you also a smartphone? It seems like another key piece of the archetype to make the archetype go brrr. Doesn't seem busted though. You're not Dr. Manhattan, are you? Did they have to nerf you? Was 3 too much? Was 1 mana too much? 1 energy? Nah. The high rolls are terrifying, but they're just the high rolls. You are also a smartphone, Mr. Blade. I have identified you.
Correct.
Okay, sweet.
Correct again. 4-0 for CGB. Dude. Oh my God, is he gonna get that Yabi status?
Yeah.
The Yabi title, Yabi Blue. Okay, impressive. I mean, honestly, like, it is very clearly a smartphone. It is a card that is, you know, as you evaluated really well. It has 3 power. It is above the stat line, the vanilla stat line for 1 energy, and needless to say, like, most 1-drops generally gravitate around this, like 2 power, or they're paying for like a strong ability with like an even lower stat line. But there's only so much room for like power fluctuation within one drops, right? It generally tends to be more about the ability. But in this case, in the right deck, Blade represents a fundamental ability. And the ability, the fact that it discards the rightmost card makes it extremely reliable, right? The precision and the fact that it's so cheap, as you said, yes, it is a one drop that a lot of times you're not going to be playing on curve like Electra, but the payoff that you're going to be getting for doing so is, as you can tell, significantly greater most of the time. You can hit something like Wolverine, for example, you were to be running it, even though I do want to... I'm going to burst your bubble here a little bit. You know, I don't want to be that guy, but Wolverine doesn't really tend to be played in discard decks. He tends to be played more in destroy decks, but I did like including it there as a reference of like what a discard card looks like, right? And Blade can play really into that. Remember Hela, which I showed you in the villains video?
Yes. Yeah.
Blade
that was
is an
kind of
essential.
Yeah.
Essential component there. Like you can just like discard a massive card, you know, and play it exactly when you need to do so that you discard it. And because it's a one drop, you can often just chain it with other things, you know, with very little effort. And you're getting 3 power. 3 power for 1 is nice, man. It's just good. It's just a good number. Like you're supposed to be paying 1 more energy to be able to get that. But Blade gets in there quick. He's fast. And he is a key card. Fun fact, Blade used to be random. Blade used to be, and he even saw play then. But a bunch of the discard cards, like Blade, you know, underwent some changes and got more precise with the discard mechanic. You know, probably against Ben Bro's wishes because he loves RNG. But you know, ultimately, we got to a point where yeah, this is a very, very important tool for the archetype, as you said, and it's a very, very key card. And you absolutely nailed it. Oh my lord, you're on a roll. How about we spice things up?
Not too much.
You know,
please.
This guy, he never knew his daddy, but he shot out of his pee-pee ready. I'm keeping it PG.
Oh God.
The best.
Oh, Channing
The
Tatum.
best X-Men. The #1 X-Men, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And in the opinions of everybody whose opinion matters.
Oh, okay then.
Gambit is a 3 energy, 3 power card with an on-review effect that says, discard a card from your hand to destroy a random enemy card. Now, I do feel like I need to clarify here because the text is a little bit unintuitive because it does specify that you're destroying a random enemy card.
Yeah.
But it's not specifying the fact that you are actually also discarding a random card. Keep that in mind too.
Sure.
All right. Where does Gambit lie? You know, like I may have felt like I don't care. I just keep in mind this is my favorite X-Men, so be respectful, okay?
A random enemy card and a random card in your hand. How good is it to trade a random card in your hand for a random enemy card? If you're playing on curve, you're destroying a 1, 2, or 3, and you might be discarding a win con, something way more powerful because it's something you didn't play out on 1 or 2. Ugh, that can be so bad. But then you talked about Hela, and Hela, but what if you discard Hela? The low rolls. The low rolls scare me, dude. But that's the thing that's why I'm not a good poker player, dude. Like, I remember the L's way more than the dubs, and I would bet that the math works out most of the time that in a Hela deck, this is very good for you, except the times when it's not. I wonder if there's easier, better, or more reliable ways to destroy something. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's all built into these character cards, that you're playing a lot more of that than things that destroy a bunch of stuff. We talk about that. My instincts as a control mage, you see a threat, you blow it up. It doesn't seem like this is that style of game. 3 mana, play this thing, discard a card at random, kill one of their random things. Does the discard archetype, is it willing to take that? You just told me that Blade used to be at random and still saw play. If that's true, then Gambit might also still see play from the degenerate gamblers out there.
Who are you calling degenerate?
Yeah, not people on YouTube ever. No.
Okay, good that we clarified that.
Yeah,
Continue.
yeah. YouTubers are just good, upstanding citizens. Okay. I hate this one. This one preys on some of my weaknesses. I do not like RNG for upside. I feel like I am a person who rolls low, and I remember the low rolls, and I'm the person to impulsively tear it out of my deck the moment it screws me. Is there a way to mitigate this, to play it at the right time? If it's just in your hand along with your win con, your big 6 energy play, then there's not really a good way out of that, I don't think. I think the low roll's too bad. I think it's too risky, but Blade still saw play. If you hadn't given me that tidbit, I think I would have immediately sent this to like gluten-free bread or NPC land. But because you gave me that, is it a mind game? Are you messing with me?
Would I ever?
Stats are a little below rate. Like I said, when you play it on curve, you're probably not destroying something great, and you could really mess yourself up. There might be, in current Snap, there might be more reliable ways to do this. Still seems like an effect that some decks would want, just based on everything we've seen so far. Is this a smartphone bonanza? Did you open a smartphone store on my corner? Is that what's going on here? You just wheeling, dealing smartphones out here, Mogwai? Is that what's going on?
That's a pretty good tool.
It is. Smartphone number 4, Gambit, declared.
You should have followed your heart, man.
Damn it.
You're looking at gluten-free bread.
No!
Yummy title! Revoked.
It's over.
Actually, no, because it was never given to you to begin with.
It's over. The dream is dead. Gambit.
You were close.
Gambit.
You were close.
I lost the gamble. I believed.
The mind game. To be, I did not even intend it as a mind game. Like Blade is like the one example of like the card that was playable being random, just because it was a 1-drop.
Yeah.
Right. So you could always wait until later.
Yeah.
Gambit is playable. Don't get me wrong. Gambit is playable. Gambit used to be quite bad because it used to be 1 power. Because there are scenarios in which this card can just snipe down, like especially like on curve. Like not everybody plays a 1-drop all the time. In fact, a lot of games people skip their 1-drops and just drop a 2-drop. So if they develop something that like a 2-drop engine or something, like Gambit can come down and just knock it out. But as you thought about as well, the randomness within this card, like even the 3/3 stat line buff, it just doesn't do enough. It is a clear gluten-free bread because there are just better options in this card. That's why I wanted to lead off with Electra into Blade, because with Electra I showed you the downside of the randomness, and with Blade I showed you what is fundamentally a better version of a discard card, right? Like those were supposed to be some clues, but I guess that comment that I made threw you for a loop there. But yeah, this card, I love this character, man. Yeah. I love this character, and it sucks because I don't actually want them to make him like Blade, because it kind of stays real to the name, right? It's a Gambit. Mm-hmm. This play is a Gambit. Mm-hmm. It's a Gamba. You're gonna Gamba. You're gonna see what happens, and more often than not, you're gonna be disappointed, man. You're gonna play this thing. You're gonna be like, hey, kill the 10 power monster. You hit a rock.
Yep.
And you discard a card. So Gambit, it's not an NPC because he does actually serve a niche. I think one of the most fun decks that he's a crucial element in is what's called the Exodia Gambit deck, which is a deck that essentially tries to build up all the right pieces to go for like a game-winning combo, in which you have a card in hand that comes back every time it's discarded, right? There are some cards that can do that. And then this deck is ultra meme status, by the way, just clarifying that. You have this discard effect that just comes back, and then you basically set up a board in which you combine certain cards. I don't want to spoil anything, but you combine certain cards that together can allow you to just re-trigger the same Onryu effect a bazillion times, right? And then you end the game with Gambit, and you just you clean up their board. And when it works, like that 1 out of 200 times, it is absolutely glorious because you just clean up their board with this crazy combo. But obviously, like, you need the stars to align for this to happen. You need like it's like a 6-card combo or something like that. I don't know. Like,
okay, yeah, fun.
Yeah.
Boom.
But it's definitely, that's like, he does serve some niche there. He can be a part of like a dedicated discard deck, but there are fundamentally better options than him, which is why he is gluten-free bread, just because he kind of like fell behind a bunch of these other discard redesign effects. Hell Cow is also like a random effect, but because it has the activate keyword, you can trigger that discard at the very last moment, once you've already made your last play. So the randomness is not really as relevant, right? Because your hand will be depleted by then, so it'll be more accurate. With Gambit, it's a 3-drop. You have a good reason to play it on curve for tempo sake, right? To be able to stay ahead of your opponent. But then you can just, like you said, if he plays in a Hella deck, you discard Hella. And then it's over, right?
Oopsie. Yeah.
So,
you little trickster. You squirmy trickster, you got me.
Yeah, you gotcha.
You got me.
I mean, to be fair, this is the kind of card that I could have fallen for too, because I have such a bias. I don't even know where to begin. But that is the case for Remy LeBlanc. There we go. I almost butchered his name. We're gonna move on. So now we looked at the main squad. All right, the lineup of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
How about we talk a little bit about the villains of the movie, though?
Right in my wheelhouse. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's see how you do with our next guest here, Cassandra Nova.
Oh,
Cassandra
wow.
Nova. I deleted the text. Oh my god, I deleted the text. Okay, no, wait, don't worry. I got you.
Vanilla.
I got you.
It's vanilla. Yeah, obviously bad.
NPC. Okay, hear me out.
We're moving right
Her
along.
ability says on reveal. All right, I'll write it here. On reveal, steal. Okay, 1 power from every card in your opponent's deck.
What?
All right, so basically just to give you some fundamentals, okay? Just let's go over some fundamentals in Marvel Snap. Decks are 12 cards, all right? And you basically start off the game with 3 cards in your hand, and then every turn you draw 1 card. So on turn 1 you draw your 4th card, on turn 2 you draw your 5th card, and on turn 3 you draw your 6th. Okay?
Yep.
Good luck, have fun.
Are all cards characters?
Yes.
Okay. I hadn't seen anything like
even
spells.
if they're not,
Okay.
even if you have some random shit in your deck, because some locations can add stuff to your deck, for example, everything has like energy and power.
Okay.
And even if it's something with 0 power, it goes to -1.
Ah, it's
So
nice.
the steal effect means that you -1 the power of that card, and that power goes on to Cassandra.
Oh, it goes on to Cassandra.
She steals it, yes.
So on curve,
So it's like drain. Drain is also like another terminology for drain, steal. Same thing.
so on curve, if there are 6 cards in your opponent's deck, this is a 7 power card.
Correct.
The fuck? What? I mean, I guess it's not absolutely insane, but like if the vanilla is 4 and the good ones are 5, or maybe like the push ones are 6 and this is 7, and you reduce your opponent's stuff, that's really good. If this card doesn't come down on curve, it gets a lot worse. Gets a lot worse. Right? Probably. You play this like on turn 5 or something. Oh, it's so bad. Man, that's really polarizing. I guess so another thing that's interesting is you did say that Mill's worse than it's ever been because there are now things that add cards to the deck and they all have like a power. So if you or your opponent use effects that add cards to their deck, this comes out even bigger, right? How does this work with Thanos? If the opponent has
If you are facing a Thanos deck, and you play Cassandra Nova on curve, a Thanos deck has 6 more cards, so she would be 12. She would be 13 power.
Oh my god! That's insane! Right?
I don't know.
Oh, what? Where's that? We decided Thanos was bad. Where's the Thanos meta? But there was a Thanos meta before they like nerfed it. Maybe this card was the answer in that time. Oh, this card is a tough one to evaluate because, as a friend of mine would say, it's just a big meatball. But big meatballs this is a power-based game. This is about winning locations. This card could come down at an insane rate, but then if you don't draw it on time. So let's see. There are 6 turns. So you have 12 cards. That's the point. If you draw this later in the game, you can just not play it. There are cards that are not being played in this game. That's probably the other reason why discard is pretty good, because the game is so short that playing for some kind of long game doesn't make sense. There are cards that will not be played in most games. That's what I'm getting from this. So the idea is if you draw this later, you just don't play it. And if you draw it on curve, you're above rate stats. Boom. But are there better things to do on 3 that synergize better or do more with your deck than just provide a giant meatball? That's the question. And usually in most games, the answer is yes. In most games, raw stats are not that impressive the more mature and developed the game becomes, and synergy and engines get better. But I love the idea of this with like that's I think I'm getting timid because I love the idea of this if the opponent adds more cards to their decks and then this is even bigger. Oh my gosh, but that's Timmy. I'm timmying hard. Does that make this unplayable? Does that make this an NPC? Are you an NPC? It's possible. Gluten-free bread. I mean, how bad is it? God. Oh my God, am I about to call Cassandra Nova an NPC? It can't be because it's still above rate. I can see the mega upside where this is busted, but I think that's me being a Timmy. I'm gonna go with, God, I hate going with gluten-free bread so much. I hate it. What archetype would this even be like necessary? And that's the thing. Just a deck that wants an on-rate stat monster, maybe in the right meta? Maybe this is an NPC. NPC, I'm doing it. I hate going middle. I'm gonna go low. NPC.
I'm sorry to say this is your biggest miss so far in the series.
No! What happened to me?
I don't know what happened because you were like literally on point for like the first 70% of your reason, and then you're just like, what if you're NPC? It's like, what happened? I'm like, what is happening?
Pile of numbers. I don't know, man. I don't know.
This okay. In your defense, this is perhaps one of the trickiest Dr. Manhattans to date.
Oh God, no! Not like this.
I can feel the pain. I kind of like it.
I should lose the whole video. All my points should be revoked. Okay.
I'm just a little bit like I don't understand what happened.
Sometimes we cook too close to the sun.
Yeah, I think you overcooked. I think you legitimately. This is a perfect example of somebody overcooking, because you were on point. You were fucking on point. But then I think maybe what may have messed with your thought process a little bit was the fact that I've been showing you very highly synergistic cards, right?
Yeah.
And I think that may have made given you the impression that you require to have these decks require these super high levels like synergies in order to like really be good, right? The thing about Cassandra Nova is she's not just a meatball, in the sense that she comes down like her coming down for 3 energy and giving you 7 power proactively without having to combine her with anything else is wild. Okay, like being able to hit 7 points on a regular basis at the very least, given that you're not matching up because there's more to her. This card, context also matters, and that's something that you did not have, obviously, which is why I think this is I think my Dr. Manhattan this time around was a little bit tricky, but it's ultimately like the thing with Cassandra Nova is that she's just in this case she's not just giving you 7 points, she's stealing the power. So she's hitting your opponent's deck, and you are gonna find value because every draw, like your opponent's, like half of the draws, like if you play her on turn 3, half of your opponent's draws that game are gonna have -1 power. And this is a power game at the end of the day. This is a game of stats. It's a game of who has more power on 2 out of 3 locations. So losing 1 power on your card matters. It matters. It matters more than it would seem. And so her technically her power output goes beyond that even, though it depends on what the opponent does, right? But Cassandra Nova was also like deemed broken upon release because, again, in this case, context matters. Basically, let's just say that there was an archetype that would enhance your deck, right? And it was a very prevalent archetype. Like there are more cards than Thanos that do this, and Cassandra Nova was just like a tremendous counter to it, right? Cassandra Nova also can function really well with, because you haven't seen cards like these yet, but there are cards in the game that allow you to put stuff in your opponent's deck. So that can also enhance her.
Oh boy. Alrighty. Yeah.
But ultimately, this is perhaps one of the most. This is like, so far out of all the Dr. Manhattans that I've showed you, this is the one that like barely makes it to that tier, because this is an old version of the card. And you know what they did to Cassandra Nova so that she would not be broken? She's now 0 power.
Okay. Sure.
All it took was 1 power off, having her hit that 6 instead of that 7. And now she's a high level smartphone. Like she is very much meta relevant and one of the best cards actually, but she's not like considered to be broken anymore. That 1 point in Marvel Snap can make can make all the difference, right? Especially when you're lower in the curve. The lower you are in the curve, the more that fluctuation impacts, right? The more of a difference it makes. And this includes 3 drops, right? So yes, she's a Dr. Manhattan. Yes, sometimes statistics, like being able to develop power proactively without any downsides. I think this will be the round that will definitely, like, you won't forget about this. But it is a thing that is actually good, right? It is tricky to be able to hit 7 power without having to have any sort of specific scenario happen, or with having like another downside chained onto it, you know?
Yeah.
So very, very, very powerful card that now is one hell of a smartphone, one hell of a meta-defining card, but is no longer fundamentally broken like she was when she had 1 power. So that is Cassandra Nova for you. But hey, okay, I'm not gonna lie. This was a massive fail. You just fell flat on your face.
Yep, thank you.
You know, like your teeth all over the floor.
Appreciate
it was
that.
It was awful.
Yep. Can we just get another card?
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it to you. It was terrible.
Card in the freaking feed now. I need to move on. I need to forget that the last 20 minutes happened.
We got the last one. Hey, you're still 4-2. Mm-hmm. So you can be the 5-2 king.
All right, that is kind title. Of my line. Yeah.
The last card is it Aliath or Aliath?
I don't know.
Because I always call him Aliath. Okay. So if you don't know, it's fine. All right. So another card but it's okay. I'm gonna write it for you. On reveal, destroy all enemy cards played here, whether they are the unrevealed ones too. unrevealed English ones 2. So there's a 6 energy, 5 power card that on reveal will destroy all enemy cards that were played in the same location he's in, including the ones that have yet to flip over. This matters like if you have initiative over your opponent and you play Alioth, then even if the cards in the location are face down, they will get destroyed as well.
Okay.
Before they even get to flip over.
Okay.
Which is relevant, like in this case, like if you destroy an unrevealed card, for example, let's say that you play a Wolverine, but because the Wolverine did not flip over, it just it won't come back, for example.
Gotcha.
Right? Like important to know.
Okay. So 6 energy, win a location. That's okay. That like what are we doing here? What the hell is this? All right, so you focus the rest of your game on one location and then you play this on the other. You try to lock down a location, right? You try to make it so that you spend your first 5 turns for sure I'm gonna win that location. Turn 6, you spend all your energy on this thing. You win another location, you win the game. That's what this says to me. Why in God's name would a deck not play this? I just what? And then I still haven't seen a ramp spell in Snap, but you've told me they exist. That I'm sure is good. Just being able to not necessarily have to wait till the end of the game, but just set something up and blow up their best spot, and then still have an over-the-top play the next turn. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's no way this is fine. The only reason I would say this isn't some Dr. Manhattan insanity card is you didn't know how to pronounce the name. That's all. You were questioning the pronunciation, and it would be something people would say all the time.
It's because I've called this card. I'm okay. So I'm gonna be real with you. I wasn't entirely sure if Alioth appeared in the movie or not, so I googled it on YouTube. I searched it on YouTube, and then I saw somebody mention, "See, here's Alioth." And I'm like, "What the?
What?
Alioth? I've been calling him Alioth like forever, and Alioth?
Alioth?
Alioth? That cannot be it. That guy was like that. I don't know, man. I don't know, because everybody's always like dunking on me for mispronouncing every card under the sun, and I have zero confidence,
so
man. This is an area where I have zero self-esteem.
You're saying if I base my rating on your pronunciation, I'm fucked.
Wow, okay.
That's what I'm hearing.
Okay, going low. All right, fine, okay.
I mean, hey, what would a YouTuber be without a self-esteem issue? It's okay.
Yeah, true. That's too real, though. That's too real.
we're getting out of bounds.
You're getting
hurry, destroy this location. Let's move on. Oh my God, this card is. If you tell me a reason this card isn't just insane bust in half, I can't think of a reason for a deck not to run this. That's my problem. Why wouldn't a deck play this card?
So Dr. Manhattan is your final answer?
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to answer that question. If I can find and answer that question, maybe not. On reveal, destroy all enemy cards played. Yeah, what are we doing? What balances this? I don't know. Dr. Manhattan.
Of course it's the Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, of course it is. I was sure. I can't think of any reason it couldn't be.
This is like the most broken card ever made, I think.
How do you put this anywhere else?
I have no idea. I have no idea how the design team was like, this is okay. Like, what in the This was a real thing. I swear to God, it existed. Alioth, aka your boy Alioth. Yeah, this card has gone under a lot of change. It was initially released like this. God knows why.
I can't.
And as you very like but see, this goes to show, like, keep in mind, this is somebody who has never played Marvel Snap. He never even downloaded the game, and he was immediately able to tell that this thing was just downright broken. That really goes to show like this card, which makes me worry. Is like, what kind of dev team releases it? But whatever. This card was really crazy. I actually was not present when it was released. I was taking a bit of a break from the game because of Leader, like I told you.
This and Leader together. Let's go.
Yeah. Good times.
Back when just blowing up whole
this was
locations
released.
was the game. Yeah,
pretty much. The community kind of imploded with it. It got changed, I think, relatively fast. And one of the first changes that they applied, it's gone through several changes because it went from 5 power to 3 power, and then it went to 2 power. But when it went to 2 power, the change was also, though I'm not sure if this change also happened when it was shifted to 3 power. Like it went through several changes, right? Because it just never stopped being broken. And at one point, this card was 2 power, 6 energy, 2 power, and it only destroyed all unrevealed cards instead of all cards. So what this meant that for a long time, Alioth remained in this state, which was that of a card that was designed to benefit decks that were capable of staying ahead up until turn 6.
Yep.
Because if you stay ahead, you reveal your cards first. So Alioth became this really weak card, but it would allow you to delete your opponent's play if you were able to reveal your cards before them. So you would see him in decks that would perhaps sacrifice a little bit of combo and synergy for just like raw, as you like to call them, stat sticks, right? Like the Timmy cards that allow you to keep momentum and make sure that you're always flipping before your opponent, and then you would Alioth them on the last turn. In this shape, with 2 power, because just think about it, this card is 5 power, and even if you did not have initiative, it would flip over and would destroy everything that they played there. So you could be behind in that location by like 4 points, and Alioth would allow you to like win it no matter what, right? So yeah, just absolute bonkers of a card. But when it was at 2 power, it was technically more like balanced, but it was still very polarizing and one of the most hated cards in the game, because it kind of like whenever your opponent was ahead of you for any reason, it was like, okay, I can make this play, but I lose to Alioth. The thing was always, I lose to Alioth. Like if they have Alioth, I lose.
Fun.
And the game kind of like became that, right? So the card was very disliked throughout the community. So the final iteration, which initially they low rolled a little bit at 8 power, but then they landed on 10, which is actually like a smartphone level card, is 6 energy, 10 power, on reveal, remove the text of all unrevealed cards here. So you have 10 power, which is a little bit lower than the vanilla stat line, right? But you have this ability that rewards you from being ahead and allows you to take away the text from cards, but you don't just delete the card. So the base power of the cards still matter, right?
Yeah.
And they finally landed in a place where this card was acceptable. When it wasn't just like tearing through the game, right? But it's really funny to think about how like because people forget about its true initial form, because people talk about like the 2 power version more often than not, but people forget that this card existed like this at the beginning.
Jesus, just why?
It's bonkers, yeah. So as you can see today, I mixed it up a little bit. Like I wanted to pair some same ratings together. I started off with a couple of smartphones, and then I went to another like I was gonna say, oh, you got the back-to-back Dr. Manhattans, but then it's like, oh.
No, I didn't. I did the opposite of what getting it would be. Yes, I failed miserably.
You're still 5-2, bro. You're the 5-2 king.
I guess
like,
so.
That is.
That's just who I am. I'm gonna tattoo it on my head.
Yeah. Oh man, that was just so funny, man. Like, because you were like straight up like cruising perfectly, gonna land there. And all of a sudden, it's like NPC. I'm like, what? But that was amazing. Like you nailed the Destroy archetype really well. You managed to see Blade for how reliable he is. And thank God, like you nailed Eliath. I definitely I was expecting you to get this one. This one is pretty wild. But it was funny how fast you realized. You immediately, like, I love how you said, like right off the bat, you're like, oh, so this just wins your location.
Oh yeah, just
What the
GG.
fuck?
Nice. Is that good?
Yeah, it's a wild one, but yeah, as you can see, there is quite a bit, like there is more nuance to the game than initially means the eyes, even though it does revolve around one stat. And obviously, like evaluating a lot of these cards is really tricky because you're lacking fundamental context. For stuff like Cassandra Nova, right? Like knowing that there are cards that can put stuff in the deck and stuff like that, right? That there are archetypes that really beef up the deck as well. And all that stuff, but I gotta say, man, you've been doing great. Like these 3 videos we've gotten so far in the series with a 5-2 record. I know you're bummed out about Cassandra Nova, but I think you owe yourself a pat on the back. You're doing really well.
Who? I'm moving on.
Who the hell is that?
Moving on. Don't know that one. Don't know that one's name. Nope. Moving right on.
But yeah, and I want to thank you, man, for being a guest on these videos, and hopefully you've enjoyed them as well. Like it's been nice having you. I mean, I'm not like saying goodbye to you or anything. Like
it's
hopefully we can continue the series. But
I'm sorry, but if you're gonna get Cassandra Nova wrong, I'm going to move on to somebody with a better card game analytical skills. It's not you, it's me. I have different goals. We're moving in different directions. Fine. See you next week.
Hey, and at least I think in this video, at least I can also pat myself on the back because it only took me 3 videos to get the vanilla stat line right. So go me.
Yeah.
But yeah, character growth for both of us.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. CGB, always a pleasure to have you. And I'll see you next time, man.
Bye.